Alright, this is your week 4/5 program. Since I know some of you were very upset you didn't get a program for week 4, I figured to incorporate it into this one. Okay. It's worth 100 points. Put it in the Dropbox, obviously. I'm giving you until Tuesday at 11:59 to complete it. Okay? That way, if you have some last-minute questions, you can ask me on Monday. It gives you another. That was basically, y'all should thank Cameron for that, because I said, when do you want to do? It's Tuesday. Well, the problem is, we're going to have a week 6 program, and it's going to incorporate some of week 5 as well. It's going to be the URL, which I already showed Cameron kind of what it's going to start with, at least. Well, it's just reading a URL. That's all I showed him. Said it's going to do this. Then you're going to have to format it. Okay, so week 4-5, it's up there under content, under chapter 5. It says chapter 4-5 program. Okay. What you need to do, obviously name it, same as you name the rest. Write a Python script to read in text from the file supplied, which is up there as well. Manipulate the data and as detailed below in a method called process file, and then output the results into the output file. Okay? The entire script needs to be in one file. Okay, and here is how the functions are going to work, or the methods are going to work. Okay, process file. Alright, so let's talk about the main script first. The main script is going to open a file for reading, which we've done. It's going to open a file for writing. Okay? It's going to call process file, and it's going to pass it the two file names. Then close it. That's it. That's all it's going to do. So your main script is a line for open, a line for close, a line for the call, the first close and the second close. That's 5 lines of code. With the exception of comments if you want to put them in there. But 5 actual lines of code. That's all you get in the main script. Now let's talk about the different methods. Okay, so process file is going to receive the 2 file names, convert it to uppercase. We know we've done that before. Nothing new. Going to remove a bunch of characters. The reason is the source file. I'll show you what's in the source file. The source file is this. It's a program. It's a file I use to calculate the index of coincidence of English, pretty much. It's got commas in it. It's got dashes in it. It's got spaces in it. It's got double dashes in it. It's got slashes in it. It's got percent signs in it. So it's got a bunch of stuff in it. Okay? So I specifically listed each of the items here. Every single item there needs to be removed. Okay?
So another question mark?
What?
The question mark you know what's the
There's no question marks in it. You saw one? Hold on. Where's it at?
It's on the source on D2L.
Yeah, like the apostrophes or question marks.
Oh.
It looks like
Okay, what's happening is D2L is trying to show it to you, but the apostrophes aren't coming through correctly.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
It's
plastic.
like in a triangle that has like...
Okay, so if you download the file, you should be fine. It should save it correctly. But just the viewer, the viewing engine, what it is the apostrophe on top of the tab key. Okay? Well, just remove everything other than the letters. Okay? And you got to do it automatically because I'm going to run it on my file. So don't manually go remove the stuff because I'm going to run it, your script with my file. Okay? But I can also put it in the Dropbox. That way you guys can download it from there as well. It might make it easier. Okay, I'll do that for you. Okay? Alright, so we're going to remove all that stuff from it. And create a list called values. It's in the book. It's right in there. So create a list called values that contains the contents of the file broken apart by the spaces in the file. So what method would we use to do that? No, replace is going to get rid of that junk. Come on, someone's got to remember. Cameron, what's the method?
That makes us feel not so bad.
She would know. Good answer. It was split. She was correct.
What?
She would have answered it. It's split. Oh, you did? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, he answered it.
Oh.
Wow.
Sorry, man. I honestly didn't hear you. Good. Yes.
I thought I was wrong. I was like, okay.
Hold on 1 second.
Doesn't split work on the space character model?
Yes, it does.
Well, if there are invisible characters in this, or characters that are something we can't see.
There's no invisible characters.
So if you run the replace state, if you run replace all this stuff right there, that'll leave you with letters and spaces only. Okay? All that stuff. I mean, make sure every character, including the apostrophe and everything, okay? So yeah, well, if you run the replace, it's going to leave you with the spaces. Now we learned how we could have used split to split based on something else. But for this case, I want you to split based on the spaces, which is the default. Sorry, I just didn't hear you call it, man. Next time, just throw something at me. Okay. So create values, break it apart based on spaces, then call the frequency table method, passing it values, which is the list you just made, and the output file. Okay? And here's what frequency table does. Receives the value list and the file name, counts the number of times each string is used, sorts it all, then generates a frequency table. Okay? The table has to be the first part, left justified for 15, the right hand side, right justified for 2, and I'm going to show you an example of that. Okay? The output should look like that. So the left part, the string part, is left justified for 15. The number on the right is right justified for 2. Because we covered format specifiers last time. Now the title at the top, you can use different spacing for that. Because if you right justify that for 2, it's not going to be right. But the data in the table, now I gave you the beginning of the table and the ending of the table. Obviously there's a lot more in the middle. Everybody understand why I just didn't feel like putting this huge, long thing for an example. So if you look at the output, it should look exactly like that. What it's going to do, so it's going to count up the times the word A is in there. The word able, the word about, the word and, the word everything. Word count. The word isn't. So you're going to count it up and output it to a table. Yes, sir?
So isn't is supposed to be counted as one thing as opposed to ISM and then a second?
Correct, because when you use, he asked, isn't should be counted as one. That's correct, because if you look up here, you're removing the apostrophe. So when you pull out the apostrophe, don't replace it with a space. Just remove it. Okay? So ISN apostrophe T, you remove the apostrophe, you end up with ISNT. Okay? Good question, though. Very good question. All right, this program, you get 10% for naming it, uploading and all that cool stuff. 40% for the process file method, 40% for the frequency table method. I've seen a frequency table somewhere. Anyone have a clue where I might have seen it? Maybe chapter 4. It's there. Just saying. It's actually in 5 too, but 4. You can, if you take the one in 4, just type it. It works. Okay, it's that easy. But for those of you who want to be special, you can make me a chart as well. This will get you 50% bonus.
You make a chart.
To put that in there as well. But obviously this chart does not have the correct values in because I didn't make the chart. I'm just showing you an example of what a chart would look like. So in other words, A's would have a bunch. based on this. Where's it at? So I'd have a whole bunch. I'd have a very tall thing for A's, a very short thing for Able, and so on and so forth. Okay, everybody understand?
Is that in the book, how to do a chart?
Yes, it is. It's actually in chapter 4. That's the one thing we didn't go over. I said it's here. I just don't feel like typing it all in. But if you don't, if you need help on the regular program, I will help you. I will not provide any assistance whatsoever on the extra credit.
Is the extra credit also due on Tuesday?
Oh, yeah. All at the same time. Will not provide any assistance on the extra credit. Get the program working first. Okay, get it totally done. Then work on the extra credit. I don't care if you put it inside the same method or you make a different method. I don't care. It's up to you the way you do it. All it really needs is one little method is all it is. If you want to do that, that's fine. I'll give you 50% credit for that on top so you can actually get 150. Okay, but if you don't finish the program, don't give me the extra credit. Again, there's what the output should look like. Any questions? All right. So, all right.
Just one question on the extra credit.
And the extra credit.
Can we just like hard code it in there?
Hard code? Oh no, it has to be fluid. It has to generate this based on that table. In other words, however many times A was in there, and about, and y'all. I'm from New England. Anyone from New England here? How do y'all remember prepositions? We learned it in a song. Aboard, about, above, across, after, again, sat by, front, need a long, among, around. See, this farmer and dealt with prepositions. Basically, because they're all of them. See? I just saw about in there, so I had to print into my brain. But see, this kind of world, they don't teach you all that cool stuff. So yeah, that's how you remember all of them. There's also beneath, beside, between. I just can't remember the rest. Sorry. So now you know. Now you know what they teach in New England. All right. Any questions on the program? I just wrote it. Took me like 45 minutes, and took me the longest trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Okay, now what do I? Because I have to try to incorporate different things. Like I had to incorporate the format specifiers. That was in chapter 5, so I had to make sure I brought in some stuff for you guys to use. All right. Please start working on it. Okay, I'm going to stop this recording.